All right, gang, by popular request, we're going to talk about how to do pivots in West Coast swing. How many can we do? Oh, that's how many we're going to do. All right, so we had this for your request, how to get into it, how to get out of it, how to lead it, but more importantly, I call this the $1 million move, the pivot. So here's how we're going to get into it, but the pivot part is the more important part. It's going to be off of a whip, right? Because there's a delay moment there that I can use to set up my pivot as we continue all the way through, right? But more importantly is going to be the skill of the pivot itself by a long shot. So both individually in our bodies and then how we do it together. So first things first, if we step forward, the first skill we have to master is stepping forward on a heel lead, pivoting a half turn, stepping back onto the ball of the foot and pivoting a half turn, forward and pivot and back and pivot and forward and pivot. Let's go back the other way, Megan.
Which
so
foot?
Right foot forward. So we're going to step forward and pivot, backwards and pivot, forward and pivot, backwards and pivot, and so on and so forth. So to learn this, we need to do the one-footed balance drill. So we're going to step forward. You can step on a heel or a ball to find that balance point, right? Over the ball of the foot. And at that point, if you can just stand here and stay balanced, that's number one. Because if you can't stay balanced over a foot, I had a student come in and said, I want to learn 10 one-footed spins. And I said, can you stand on your foot and count to 10? Because if you can't, you don't have the skill, the muscle in your leg to be able to hold yourself there while you're rotating. So first things first is to step and hold yourself and be balanced. Second is you want to progress to a quarter turn. Forward, quarter turn, and then back. And then forward, quarter turn, and back. And we're going to stop right there. So now when we pivot a half turn, I want you to pay attention to something. Forward, half turn. Notice our left leg stays under the left side of our body. So as we step back to receive the pivot, I'm now talking leader's part, as I step back to receive that pivot, this foot is already on that side to be able to pivot. Does that make sense? So let's talk a little bit about how to get into it. So again, I have to have the skill where my partner stays what, Miss Megan?
Connected.
Back there, right? Because if she steps on count 4 right away, boom, no power in that pivot, right? So she needs to stay back. This is why we teach this moment of connection in a whip, which I can then take my partner back out of, right? I can use that energy to begin the pivots as we go around. But there's some things that are going to go wrong here. Let's just get you started, because I know how you guys learn in your living room or in a dance studio. We have one, you're going to want to make a mess of it first. You're going to do this, and then you're going to fall apart.
Oh.
So,
Probably
first
not
things
like that.
first, get that energy and momentum. 1, 2, 3, and pivot. 1, 2, 3, and pivot, one half turn. Cool? Let's just get that far. 1, 2, 3, and pivot. Now, when you get to that second pivot, what I don't want to do is take my leg away from my partner. I want to stay. This is like we call a three-legged race. We're just going to rock ourselves, keeping our right leg, our right side forward, and our right legs attached. Because from that, I can then add a little bit more oomph, and then eventually we can start to move around the room. Yeah, but that's a good way to practice it, right? And I know you don't want to just stand there and do that boring, so practice it this way.
Wasn't boring.
Achieve the position, just pivot like that. So you can keep the relationship of you the same. By relationship meaning she's over my right shoulder, I'm over her right shoulder, our thighs are connected. Person stepping between the other person's feet is taking a heel lead. I'll show you why. Put your feet apart for me, Megan. If I step full on ball of my foot, I'm all up in her business. If I step heel lead, then I can monitor my energy, hoping she gets out of the way. Zip. Does that make sense? That's going on for the followers right here. Can you talk about that, Megan? 1, 2, 3, and?
Yeah, so followers, you're going in with a heel lead first.
Zip.
And then pulling yourself around as you go.
Cool. So let's aim for 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4 pivots. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How we're going to end it, we're going to put her on her right foot, and then we will anchor step your way out of it. It's not the only way, but it's the easiest way that we can think of. We came up for the video. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, and 10. I almost went around the other side. What are some other things you think about in terms of this energy? So if I'm taking you towards me.
So if I'm going through this, I am thinking about going through this space right here and around, and then it is Brian's turn to go through that space.
So one of the things that's counterintuitive is that we as leaders think, pull her on this side, right? And if I pull her on that side, I'm in her way, right? If I think we're connected there, but I'm going through this space, I'm going through this space, what does that do to my partner? Let me look at on the other side. Like if she's getting ready to pivot into me, if I think about going that way, right, it automatically opens that up. So you shouldn't be shortening this side as you do it.
Don't pull.
You're gonna go through that space. So when I get into that count 4, that's where I'm going. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going there. Boom, and then we're done. Any other final tidbits, Miss Megan?
Stay connected.
Stay connected, meaning as she goes through, such an easy answer for you every time.
But it's not. It's really hard to connect.
It is hard. So as I'm going through there, we're maintaining that. That's why I think this is a good drill first. And as I get better at my pivots, and notice I'm powering that through my own body. I'm not making her go by pulling. I'm actually going through that space more to get her to go. There's your pivots. If you want to learn other cool stuff, you should check out our website. And better yet, go to the App Store, Social Dance Online. Search Social Dance Online in the App Store, Google, or Apple. We have an app. It's super cool. You can interact with us on there. You can download it for free. We'll see you on a dance floor soon.